They say that abs are made in the kitchen, but is this true? I decided to put this to the test by training my abs every day for 90 days. As well as my transformation, I'll also be showing how to train your abs properly, the best ab exercises, as well as busting the myth that abs are made in the kitchen. Or are they? But before we get started, we're going to need some ground rules. Rule number 1 is I must train abs every day for a minimum of 5 sets or 5 minutes. Rule number 2 is the before and after videos should be taken at the same time under the same conditions. And most importantly, my weight must be the same at the start and end of the video. Last year I did a similar challenge where I trained my neck every day for 30 days and I saw amazing results. So I do feel like training like this can be a great way to bring up an underdeveloped body part. However, when it comes to ab training, I think many people are getting it wrong. What do you think of when you think of ab training? Probably some kind of high intensity circuit called Ab Burner 3000, and while this will leave you sweaty and sore, this is definitely not the optimal way to train, especially if you're going for that Photoshop look.
Seriously? It's like you're photoshopped.
This is because the basics of muscle hypertrophy involve creating enough metabolic stress on the muscles that they rip and tear, and as a result they repair and grow back stronger. And the optimal rep range for muscle hypertrophy is anywhere from 5 to 20 reps. So doing hundreds and hundreds of sit-ups in a circuit is the equivalent of picking up some light dumbbells and going crazy with curls. Yes, you'll get a pump and feel like you've worked out, but the resistance will not be enough to create metabolic stress and lead to hypertrophy. However, like rep ranges, the exercises you use to grow your abs are just as important. During this challenge, I explored a variety of core exercises, and over the 90 days, I've concocted the only 3 ab exercises you'll ever need. Each of these exercises works a different area of the abdominals as well as being easily scalable. And exercise 1 is hanging leg raises, and if you've ever tried these, they're a killer. For these, you want to start from a dead hang and focus on using your abs to bring up your legs. With ab exercises, mind-muscle connection is more important than ever. Make sure that you're activating your core and not just swinging your legs, which is cheating and would be more of a hip workout than anything. These are easily scalable by adding some weight, or if they're too difficult, you can raise your knees instead of your legs. I also like that you are hanging during this exercise, as hanging has a host of benefits all in itself, such as improving grip strength, shoulder mobility, and decompressing the spine. Hanging leg raises specifically target the lower part of the abdominis rectus. If you have trouble hanging, you can perform this movement laying on the ground. Next up, we have Russian twists, and once again, these are simple but very effective. For these, you want to start in a sit-up position with your feet about an inch off the ground, and then you're going to twist and tap your hands down on each side. You want to make sure that you elongate your spine at a 45-degree angle, and this should create a V shape with your torso and thighs. Again, these are easily scalable simply by adding some weight, or if they're too difficult, you can put your feet on the ground. And this exercise primarily works your obliques and transverse abdominals. And finally, we have my favorite ab exercise, and that is cable crunches. At a cable machine, you're going to want to kneel down, grabbing a rope attachment and crunch down. Like leg raises, mind-muscle connection is super important with this exercise, as it can be very easy for your arms to take over and pull down the weight, which is not going to activate your core. So I suggest starting light and really squeezing your abs with all your might, and you'll know if you're doing it correctly as your abs will be on fire. This exercise is easily scalable by adding or decreasing the weight on the stack, and this primarily targets the top part of the abdominis rectus. As I only train at the gym 4 days a week, I needed some exercises I could do from the comfort of my own home, and after quickly getting bored of sit-ups and planks, I decided it was time to implement some reinforcements. The first one being this ab roller. Instead of just being a wheel with some handles, this one has some pads where you can rest your elbows. I personally find the regular ab rollers hurt my hands. I know, I'm a wimp. So I was intrigued to try this out, and to my pleasant surprise, I found it really effective. I found it very easy to activate my core, and by resting my arms, it made the movement a lot more comfortable for me. And for a cheap piece of kit off Amazon, I think this is really good. And this is something that I've always wanted to try, haven't seen it advertised on TV for years. And this is one of those electrical zapping devices.
Introducing Butterfly Abs, the incredible new FDA-cleared ab trainer designed to firm, tone, and strengthen your abs automatically.
Now, these supposedly work by sending electrical signals that contract your muscles. This thing is actually painful. Granted, it is giving you an electric shock, but this thing is so uncomfortable. I would rather actually get on the floor and do sit-ups than try and do anything else while using this thing. Now, I mentioned in the rules that my weight must be the same at the start and at the end of the challenge, and somehow throughout this challenge I gained 8 pounds. I'm gonna blame the weather. So I just finished a mini cut to get my weight back down to what it was at the start of the video. Although I think this could benefit the challenge, as being in a surplus while training my abs every single day could potentially lead to more muscular growth, and I'm excited to see the results. So after 90 days of crunching, rolling, raising, and shock asking, is there a noticeable difference with my abs? Maybe not as much of a change as I was hoping for, and definitely doesn't seem worth all the effort of training my abs every single day, but what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Despite the results not being what I expected, I did learn a lot from training my abs every day. The first being, surprise surprise, I did get stronger. If you've ever trained abs with added resistance, you've probably also experienced how quickly you can plateau in a movement. I've personally been stuck on 77 kilos for cable crunches since the beginning of time. However, over the course of the 90 days, I've managed to break through my plateau and slowly start making my way down the stack. And secondly, I learned that abs recover a lot faster than other muscles. I only experienced DOMS for the first week of this challenge, then after that my body seemed to have adapted. Although some days I did have to decrease my volume to only 1 or 2 sets as my abs would be on fire, and this would be due to the lack of recovery. So if I'd taken rest days and allowed my abs to properly recover, I'm sure the results would have been better. But then again, who's going to click on a video titled I trained abs a couple times a week? Probably the best thing about training abs every day is it really helped me improve my mind-muscle connection, which helped improve my bracing for compound movements as well as my stability in functional movements. However, I do think there are 2 reasons why my results were not as good as expected, and the first one being I already trained my abs. Unlike in my neck training video where I was creating a completely new stimulus as I'd never trained my neck before, I already trained my abs on a somewhat regular basis, so it kind of makes sense that the results were not as dramatic as I expected. And secondly, I believe abs are like most things when it comes to bodybuilding, primarily genetic. And by this I do not only mean how the abs look, some people are born with a 4-pack, a 6-pack, or whatever the hell this is, but more importantly, the way your body fat is distributed around your body. Some people will just genetically not store as much body fat around their abdominals as the rest of us, meaning that they can be at a higher body fat percentage while their abs are still popping. However, unfortunately for the majority of us, the only way we're really going to get our abs to pop is by getting to a ridiculously low body fat percentage. So are abs made in the kitchen? It appears so.